to The Good Pod, where today we're talking Elsbeth, Season 3, Episode 8, Basket Case. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Reed. With me, as always, is Marissa with one S, Garva. Marissa,
oh my God,
you good?
Jason.
You good?
I don't even know how to answer your question. I cannot believe you insulted me so much.
That's your name, right? Marissa with one S, Garva.
No. And you know
No?
it. You know
What?
it so much.
do you
Jason with 2 S's, Reed.
I wish I had 2 S's in my name. That would be cool. Like, having a name with 2 S's is so great. It's a shame neither one of us knows what that feels like to have a name with 2 S's.
Yeah, well, I'll never know what that's like. It's a life unlived.
Yeah.
But I'm doing okay. Jason, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
I figured.
Yeah. This is the first show we're recording after the Thanksgiving break.
Yes.
I hope everyone's holiday, if you celebrates the holiday or not, I hope your time off or your time with loved ones, whatever you were doing, I hope you were having a great time last Thursday.
Yeah, everyone needed. I hope someone like everyone got a little bit of a break, a little bit of a time off, a little bit of a breather, because God knows we need it. I don't even know how we're at the end of this year, but we're here and we're gonna make it. We only got a little bit more to go, and then the whole another one starts. But we're gonna make it to the end of this one.
We hope. I mean, sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I'm thinking, like, should we? I don't know. Because 2025 has been quite a year.
Has been, for sure.
And of course, everyone acts like when the year turns over to a new one, everything's going to be better.
It's like clean slate.
We'll see. I think it just might get worse. I don't know. So it is weird to me that Elsbeth did not have a Thanksgiving episode, because it just seems like Elsbeth is the type of person that would celebrate a Thanksgiving. Right? She would call out the Thanksgiving genocide of it all.
And a moment for genocide. Like, she would definitely have that. Yeah.
But she would still kind of celebrate by getting people together. She's a very bring people together person. So I'm a little surprised that they didn't have a Thanksgiving moment in the last episode. But here we are, season 3, episode 8, Basket Case. A very for me, very interesting episode because of all the things going on. But before we get into the episode and the case and all that good stuff, let's get some of the housekeeping out of the way. If you want to support this podcast, you can do that by liking, rating, subscribing wherever it is you're watching or listening. That's a great help to us because it gets us into the eyes and ears of more listeners and watchers out there. You can also, if you want to just chat with us about anything and everything, you can email us at thegoodpodfeedback@gmail.com. We do also have another way you can support the show. There is a way, if you go to buymeacoffee.com/goodpod, you can support us by donating sums small and large. We appreciate the small, but love the large as well. So you can do all those things to help out this podcast, this little small independent podcast that we're doing. Those are some easy ways you can help us out with that. With that all being said, Marissa, let's get into the episode.
Yes, and I would also add to that support, if you're looking for ways to dodge politics, you just say hey, well, I guess we don't really dodge politics, but hey, I've been watching The Good Wife, or I've been watching Elsbeth, and there's this great podcast. Tell your peeps about it. We'd love it. We'd love to hear. Okay, this episode, Jason.
Yes.
Here we go. Well, I'm so excited to learn because, as you mentioned, you were really this is so meta for me, everything that's going on, and I'm what's going on? So let's get into it so I can learn from you what the heck's going on. Elsbeth is pulled into the chaotic world of college athletics when St. Ivan's athletic director, Dave Chopin, is found murdered. His body staged to look like a street robbery. As she digs deeper, she discovers a storm of tension surrounding the struggling new head coach, Russell Willoughby. I was thinking of wallabies. Willoughby and his much younger, highly controversial girlfriend, Peyton Ramsey, whose social media savvy and meddling have the entire program on edge. While Peyton appears to be the obvious suspect, especially after traces of her concealer are found on the victim, Elsbeth unravels a more complicated truth involving locker room surveillance, player secrets, and a coach whose fragile ego may be more dangerous than anyone realized. The case ultimately hinges on alibis, makeup, and misplaced pride, culminating in a reveal that shows just how far someone will go to protect a legacy already crumbling under pressure.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Like, do we need a whiteboard? Like, what's going on?
So I'm so happy that you're a nerd and you pay no attention to sports whatsoever, because
No.
this is such a wild thing to do from a show. Because okay, so let's start at the beginning. Have you?
Okay.
I think even someone that is not inclined into sports,
I am aware of sports, Jason.
I know you're aware of sports.
Of the sports balls.
Have you ever heard of Bill Belichick?
I have. Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a direct
Okay.
this is a direct takedown of Bill Belichick. Like this, I am so surprised that they just, whoever came up with this conceit, who wrote this episode, hates Bill Belichick, is probably like a Jets fan. I don't know, like, or maybe like a Giants fan or something that like hates Bill Belichick, because this was obviously a like hate letter to Bill Belichick. So let me explain to for those that don't know.
Please.
Bill Belichick was the longtime head coach of the New England Patriots. I think even those that aren't like into sports will know the name New England Patriots, will know that New England Patriots dominated NFL football for a long time. They won.
There was a dynasty of sorts.
There was a dynasty. They won several Super Bowls. Bill Belichick with Tom Brady as his quarterback for many, many years, won many, many rings with Tom and Bill Belichick. Okay, so much so that people were wondering, is it Bill Belichick or Tom Brady that's making this all happen? So a few years ago, Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots decided to part ways. Okay, they were like, we're not the same for us no more. Tom Brady left the Patriots, and the Patriots kind of like under Bill Belichick's direction was like kind of going down. Everybody's like, oh, maybe it was Tom Brady that made the whole thing run and not Bill Belichick. So Bill Belichick's star was fading. He failed to get another job in the NFL, so he turned to college football. I do believe his school is UNC, maybe?
Sure.
That I'm not so sure about. But what did happen once he got to UNC is that there's this whole firestorm surrounding Bill Belichick and his much, much younger girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, I believe is her name. And so it kind of gets out there that Jordan is kind of like running Bill Belichick's life now. She is so ingrained into his life and how he does things. She has inserted herself into the UNC program, so much so that it's getting a lot of media attention of how involved she is. And it's seemingly that she's running Bill Belichick's life in this way. So this is a like direct parallel to be like,
yes,
I want to talk crap. Yeah, I want to talk crap about Bill Belichick, and I want to do it through this show, and to give this other parallel like universe version of Bill Belichick.
Yeah,
and how this person feels about Bill Belichick and all the things that are going on. It was so, as it was like unfolding, I was just like, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, wow, this is a very, very thinly veiled hit piece on Bill Belichick, and it was so wonderful because I as well hate Bill Belichick because he has defeated my Ravens team many a time on our way to a possible Super Bowl. And like any franchise that does well, everyone else that's not part of that franchise hates them. we if you're not part of the Kansas City Chiefs fandom, you hate the Kansas City Chiefs right now because they keep winning Super Bowls. So it was like that for the Patriots for a long time. So as much as I hate Bill Belichick, this was so crazy to me to see like this obvious hit piece on Bill Belichick.
Let me share the non-sports experience of Bill Belichick. Like so there was a time when Bill Belichick, first of all, he was known for his sweatshirts.
Yes. With the cutoff sleeves.
With the cutoff sleeves and all this stuff. Okay. Yeah. So there was that. And then second of all, he cheated. There was this whole like cheating thing, right? And at that point,
Deflategate, which here is called TapeGate.
Yes. Okay. So there was this whole cheating thing. And then at that point, I was like, oh, well, first of all, I was exiting myself from NFL watching for my own personal values. Jason and I talk about this a lot. NFL is just not a thing I can
Marissa thinks
get
I'm
behind.
a terrible person.
No, I don't.
Person for supporting NFL.
No,
watching NFL.
I don't.
We know that.
We cancel each other out. Like that's just.
You were trying to cancel me for watching football. That's what you're trying to do.
No, I do other things. Like
you support Disney. You go to Disney World,
exactly.
Give them money.
Yeah, like it's hard for me to untwined from Disney because of everything that like wrapped up in my childhood and my life, which is probably their whole master evil plan. And I see that. However, I had started to exit myself from the NFL daily watching, and also so had my family, so we kind of have been like not watching football. And also, I don't know about you, but football is always like 10 times louder than any other TV show, and so I'm just like, it's too much sensory for me. I can't do it. I have to be like in a quiet space. Anywho, so I go on my little NFL hiatus, and then a couple, like, I think, was it this year, there was that interview with his girlfriend, and she was like sitting behind the camera telling him what to say, and there was all this conversation about a conservatorship, like, that's it, like Britney Spears, right? Like the whole thing. And then I was like, oh Bill, what did you do? How did you get here? What's going on? But also, okay, like, not to be a horrible person, but you are Bill Belichick. So
I mean, also kind of horrible person as well.
Exactly. So, that's what I'm saying.
You know,
like, so
he deserves it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it deserves it. I mean, I feel like what's with Bill Belichick and Coach W here, Coach Willoughby, is both kind of like, he's gotten to a point in his life where a hot young person
exactly
overrides his like need to win. Maybe it was like, to maintain this hot action I'm getting, I'll let her do anything and everything she wants.
Well, it's like this is just my couch psychoanalyzation of Coach W. I'll keep it to Coach W as opposed to, because I don't know Bill.
Because you don't know what Willoughby is.
Yeah. So like, his ego was so tied up in the game and into winning, and then when he's not winning and he's not doing this, the only thing that makes him feel like a man is that he has like this hot to trot young girlfriend. And so that is where he was gaining like his power and stuff, and he didn't want anything to like get in between, like get in danger of that. So that's why, even though he did end up killing what's his face, Dave Coppins, the athletic director of the school, he was like, there's nothing on you, babe. Like, they're not gonna take you away from me, and they'll never catch me because I'm Coach W, you know, like, I'm amazing. There's nothing you can do here. But they weren't thinking about Elsbeth with a B, Jason. Elsbeth with a B.
Yeah. So it's just so fascinating to me that this was a whole topic of an episode. It's like, just, they took, like, the writer's like, we got time. You know who I hate? You know who I can't stand? This is Bill Belichick. Let's write a whole ass, like, let's write a whole ass episode dedicated to how much I hate Bill Belichick, and I want to make him a murderer in the show that I'm writing and directing.
And we're gonna make it basketball so he can't do us.
Right, sure. And it's not like Elsbeth is a Law and Order type show where we rip stories from the headlines. This is a special case for Elsbeth in many ways, because it's like, it's a direct takeoff of one particular person. Like, I know,
of Elsbeth, one particular person.
And also we have satirized many different types of industries and talked about different things, but this is literally like, we took one person and made a whole thing about them. And so it was like, it blew me away. And also, this is straying from the formula of Elsbeth, because it does turn into a whodunit instead of a howcatchem, which I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, that's different. Although I think we probably could have, like, I think all of us surmised how this is probably going to go, probably like not long after the murder.
But I liked how they did that, because they really made Peyton, who is played by Lana Condor, for all of you rom-com fans like myself, even though I couldn't remember. I was like, the one that's not about the summer. It's To All the Boys I've Loved Before.
Yes.
Which was a good series. I
watched this and I was like, like, I was like, wow, interesting. They didn't like have in like a huge guest star to anchor this show, because we've been talking about before, like, is the budget there? And then I was looking at, I was like, oh, let me see who this person was, and I was like, oh, because I know the name To All the Boys I Loved Before. I know
you should watch it, Jason. I'm gonna make you watch a rom-com.
And I'm sure if I asked my 16-year-old daughter about this, she would know exactly who this was. If she watched this with me, she would have known. She didn't watch this one with me. So it's like, I was like, Lana Condor. I was like, okay. And then to all the, I was like, oh, okay. So she is a huge like guest star. She's very much in the what's the lady's name a couple episodes ago? Julia Fox.
Sure. Yeah. But I'd even put like her acting above Julia Fox. Julia Fox.
Oh, well, yes. Yeah.
Like
listen,
more...
Julia Fox is here because she's hot, right? Like that.
Yeah.
That's what we talked about in the a couple episodes ago. That's why she's here. That's why she's in the zeitgeist of Hollywood. But Lana Condor, yes, is a much better actor than Julia Fox. For my money, I would say.
Well, I loved her. Like, well, first of all, I love that they used her character to basically, because this is what happens in these cases. Like let's always blame the girlfriend. Like it's got to be the ambitious girlfriend who is after money and stuff like that. Like she is after money. She's gonna make her own money, but then she's also like there for Willoughby's money as well. But everyone's eyes are on her, and so I like that we didn't know who did it, because the show kind of made us fall for that trope, unfortunately. Like kind of corrected it by revealing it was Willoughby at the end. And I just love Lana Condor. There's this one scene where Elsbeth is like chasing after Coach W and Peyton as they're like walking through the training center or whatever. She's like, oh my gosh, you guys walk so fast. Like that scene. And Coach W leaves, and then like Peyton just gives this little like smile, like bye. See it. Like she played up to, she matched like Elsbeth's charisma and everything in certain scenes, and it really popped for me. I enjoyed that.
And I think this did a good job of not making Peyton like this vapid, dumb, unintelligent, like girlfriend, right? Stupid girlfriend. They made her very like ambitious. She's a go-getter. She knows she's talking about in the sport of basketball. She's not dumb. She knows what she's out recruiting other athletes. She knows what she's talking about. She has the mind for it. And at the end, it's revealed how she's still like being ambitious. She's still a go-getter. She's still doing all these things. So I like that they didn't make her this like dumb, vapid person. They made her like very sharp and very like intelligent.
Yeah, because this all starts because there's like a podcast and people are talking about how like Coach W should just resign. Like things are bad, they should go. And so she tells him like, hey babe, like people are talking about you. And he gets so into it that he's like, okay, let's put recording devices in the locker room so we can see who's talking about me to the media.
Which is revealed much later because what happens is like a lot of stuff gets out about like the players, and the players are talking, people are talking meeting. We're trying to figure it out because there's a lot of stuff out there about how involved Peyton is with all of the operations. And so we're like, who's letting out this info? And we meet Dave Coppin, who is the athletic director of the school. He basically like, he's the one that got Coach W here, but he did not plan on Peyton following along. So now he's kind of regretting it. And this like very much follows the Bill Belichick story, right? Because Bill Belichick is now at UNC. It is not going well. He is losing a lot of games, and they did not bring the iconic Bill Belichick here to lose games and become like a distraction, right? Because now him and his antics with his girlfriend are a distraction for the school. We brought Bill Belichick here to win football games, not to like have like media stories on TMZ. Like that's not what we're looking for. So that it very much follows in line because the school's not doing well and it's all about Peyton. So of course Dave is like upset. Dave confronts Peyton. He wants her out. He wants her banned from the school, which was also another story from the Bill Belichick thing of like there was rumor and talk that the school wanted Jordan banned from the facility because she was doing too much. Now it kind of turned out that apparently was not actually the case, but that's what flew out there to the media. So again, every time they like hit a piece about like from like the real life version of things, I was like, oh my god, this is so hilarious. Dave's like Peyton, like, yeah, we think like Coach W, with him letting you do all these things, he's old and pathetic and all this. And Peyton's like, oh yeah, well I bet you won't say that to his face. And it's like, yeah, I wouldn't. But we find out later that Coach W did. hear what Dave was saying about him, because we later see Dave chilling in the cold tub, getting some ice therapy. He looks up and he goes, "Oh, hey, what are you doing here?" And next thing you know, bam, he's dead. He's found on the street with
by some party peeps.
By some partiers. This was what did you think of the party goers that found Dave? I was like, they're supposed to be like drunk, I guess.
Yes.
I was like, this is a little like, we need some acting lessons here.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, and also we didn't have to have them pee in the alley to find the body. You know what I mean? Like they could have just found the body. I think it was much more complicated. I did just do a brief search for Elsbeth Bill Belichick, and yeah, the Raleigh News and Observer definitely has opinions about it.
I mean, listen, that's where UNC is, so that makes a lot of sense.
Exactly.
Oh, that's hilarious. I'm gonna have to read that after.
Yeah, check it out. Check it out. But yes,
the two drunk girls end up peeing on Dave's. One of the drunk girls ends up peeing
on
Dave's body, and then finds him, which was wild to me.
Yeah, it was just like that part was a little clunky. And then of course, also let's talk about, we had a different detective in this episode. I thought it was gonna be, who had you mentioned? Detective Edwards. Like I was expecting remember
tech detective?
Yes.
The techie?
The tech detective.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we are introduced to Detective Nina Taylor.
Yeah, so Detective Taylor, who is played by, let me just scroll to my notes here, Brittany Oldford. And, she's not like super well known. She's, I think from what I gathered from her IMDb, she was in Skins, I believe was the US interpretation of the Skins from the UK, from that show. She was on The Flash, which I watched, and I think she's probably one of the like villains of the week one time. And she was on Umbrella Academy, which I think is probably her most noteworthy thing, but I don't watch that show.
I covered that show and I can't remember who she was in that show.
Oh dang, Marissa, dang. From what I saw, she had like some like, and this might be why you don't recognize her, she had some weird shades. And she had her hair like.
Yeah.
So you got it now.
I got it now. I looked it up. Yeah, I got it.
So Detective Nina Taylor is introduced, and we mentioned a few like early in the season when we were introduced to Grace, right? We were introduced to Grace on the stand-up comedy related episode because Grace is a stand-up comedian.
Well, but she's an officer, right?
She's an officer.
Right.
Yeah. And so Nina Taylor here is a detective, but it seems like she was brought onto this case because of her background in sports.
Yes. And her, like, I don't know. Well, maybe they all do, but she was wearing that badge all the time. She was like, I am a detective, which is fine. But I just was like, oh, hi. I guess she's like trying to remind the audience that she is like, she's here. Yeah. But yes, it does seem like it was like sports. You know who could do that? Nina. Nina can handle this case with Elsbeth because sports.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if we'll ever see Detective Taylor again. Now we did end up seeing Grace again because I thought like it's weird that they brought in Grace for this one case, but we did see her again. So maybe we might see Nina again. But I'm not sure if I was like wowed by Detective Taylor because she seemed very like so she had a lot of bias going into this thing.
Well, yeah, she was like super into basketball. She was a former player, all of this stuff. And maybe this is where this comes into it, Jason. I had talked to you about before the show about how I caught a line at the end where Elsbeth goes, "There's always next season," and she goes, "Well, for some of us, so I don't know if that means for her character. I don't know if that was just like part of the game or whatever. But because this ended up being a mega meta episode, it has to mean something to me, or it probably means nothing. It's either something or nothing, which is true of most things in life. But it did stand out to me as a line where I was like, what are they?
It's very interesting because we know that the Kings and Kings related people love to nod and wink at the camera, so you could definitely be onto something there. I think in the context of the show, it was talking about the fact that I forgot when that line was. Maybe it was because Coach W was getting arrested. Like, you're not gonna have next season.
Yeah.
So I mean, throughout the episode, Detective Taylor was just kind of like, she's not showing a lot of professionalism. She's showing a lot of like, she's like fangirling at some of the stuff, and I was like, not loving this. Like, she's not. I understand she's been brought here because of her sports thing. I was like, I don't know if she was the best. Didn't love Detective Taylor.
Yeah, a seam. I was like, it was kind of like an invisible character. Sorry, Brittany, but like it could have been anyone. You know what I mean? Like I just was like, it wasn't somebody.
Well, and what she brought was, with her sports knowledge, was not like helpful. It more felt like it got more in the way than anything else.
Yeah. And then she was also like talking to one of the players who wants to be like, who's majoring in criminal justice, because and she went to that school. That was another tie.
Yes, that's why she's so like invested and involved.
Yes,
because she's like getting autographs for her kid. Wink, wink. When it's really for her, it's like, oh my gosh, this is so tropey.
Yeah, I don't know if we needed all of that. I think honestly, it is getting really interesting to see what the detective role is. Elsbeth is really carrying all these cases on her own and going from like even in this episode, she went to go visit some lady who was on the phone with Pat or Peggy or something. She was like on the phone. She's like, I don't have time for you. Like, I don't know who you are or whatever. But she like went out and she didn't have a detective. She didn't even have an officer with her at that time. So she's like really taking this all on herself. We did have an officer in this episode though. And this officer, I think, was familiar. Yes.
Okay. Officer Somerville, which if you recall, was the officer near the beginning of the season with the it was the David Cross episode, where David Cross was the just got a prison father who was trying to get a doll for his kid and ended up taking the toy store hostage. Detective Somerville was the cop that left his gun unholstered so that David Cross's character could grab it and hold up the store. Now I did wonder, they didn't really make mention of it, but I wonder if Somerville is like been conscripted to desk duty because of this like oversight of him leaving his gun unholstered. I kind of like, I implied that by everything else, because he was just like, he wasn't out on the street, he was just like in the office and doing some other shenanigans with Wagner, which we'll get to. But yeah, he was here and didn't really make much of a dent other than to, I guess, what was his real contribution? Like he had some friend that tipped him off to some sports show that he should look at. I think was the biggest contribution.
Yeah, that was it. It was like, Elsbeth will never find this because she's the girl and she doesn't listen to sports. So, you know, we need Detective Somerville here, who's can't leave the building to talk to his friends and get well, they did use podcasting in this episode, though. I did want to talk about that. Another mention, shout out to podcasting. Appreciate it. Again, you don't have to. You can just like, call us. You know, like
Kings.
Okay. You know who we are. Like, it's okay.
It would be enough, Kings, if you just come on the show. Come on the show, and that'll be enough. You don't have to keep referencing us, you know, to let us know that you listen. We'll just have an appearance. We'll take it. We'll talk to you. Come on. Don't be scared of us. We'll come on. We're not gonna bite. I know we've been critical. I know we've been critical, but we're not gonna bite. Okay, we're not gonna bite. Come on the show. So I mean, I guess that was Somerville's big like add to the show, which was like not a lot.
Well, big add to the case. I think what he did, I did enjoy the second storyline that we had here with Wagner and Lieutenant Lawrence. Stephen Lawrence, right? That's right.
Connor.
One of these, Connor, Lieutenant Connor. I don't know why, guys. Names are hard for me, which is great because I podcast about television. But anywho,
I think it's not to be mean. Not to be mean.
They never say his name again.
They sometimes do, but it's not like noteworthy enough for to be like. Right. Yeah. You know, you see what Connor did this episode? Yeah. Oh my gosh. But yes.
Yeah. So there was this whole like, I don't know if you've had to take these. I've had to take these, the like internet security training things, basically like don't click on a link if you don't know who it is. And you're supposed to call someone if you get an email, like the 18 steps to like do security. And Wagner did not pass his. And so Lieutenant Connor was like, well, you didn't pass. So you're going to have to take it again.
Yeah. And
that was pretty good, right?
Yeah, that was good. That was a good comment. That was a very good comment. But yeah, so Wagner's upset. He's like, this is entrapment. That's what this is. Which I understand, because I have failed one of those phishing tests. I too have clicked something I wasn't supposed to click, and I was like, oh, you failed the test. It's like, F you tests. Because I've never gotten a real phishing scam in my life, so I don't even know if this is really like needed. I don't work for a company that's like looking for trade secrets. Okay, I just don't. No one's gonna care about my info. But yeah, so Wagner's upset, as an older gentleman would be, I think, in this instance.
This is what we're wasting our time on. This is what, like, it's one of those. And also, like, he's like, I would know if it was real, kind of thing.
I mean, he wouldn't.
I would,
but,
Yeah, exactly.
He's trying to defend himself. He's upset because he feels like he's been tricked. So Wagner and Somerville, who also failed the training, decide to get Connor back by kind of like stealing his wallet with it, which has his badge in it as well, and making like Wagner's all these things of like, oh hey, you don't have your wallet, like what's going on? And Connor's like, oh no, obviously Connor realizes he has misplaced his wallet, doesn't want to tell anybody because he's ashamed of it or whatever, and like by the end of it it's like we got you, we got you, Connor.
Yeah, Wagner and Somerville team up to call Connor and are like, hey, posing as like a credit card company, we just want to like confirm some of these odd charges on your credit card statement. And like Connor is so pure and so real, he's like, oh my god, no, I didn't make that, no, like, what's going on? And then at least Wagner did not let this go on for like a day or whatever. He basically does like 3 purchases and then comes out the door. It's like, hey, I got your wallet. What do you see now, punk? Basically. I just like the bringing up of these tests in the thing. I wasn't such a big fan of the prank.
But by the end of it, I was like, why? Like,
and also it didn't seem like a Wagner thing to do.
I mean, yeah, sure. But by the end of that storyline, I was just like, did we just need to fill time? What was this? Because it wasn't particularly entertaining. It wasn't particularly like fascinating. I was just like, it just felt like a busy work storyline. Like, we have to have them do something. I mean, fun inter-office pranks.
Well, we couldn't possibly see what's going on with Kaya. We couldn't possibly see what's going on even with Teddy. I would have taken a Teddy update, like what the heck's going on with him with the byline and telling the truth, and or like Alec is mentioned in this episode and we never see him, but apparently he's still hanging out with Elsbeth. We still have no idea what the Elsbeth Marissa cahoots is, like what they're working on together. There were some other things we could have done with this time.
Yeah, I just thought.
But again, Kings, come on the pod. We'll
talk about it. We'll talk about it. I just don't know how involved they're not with Elsbeth anymore. It feels like it's more of a presented by the Kings, like
it's like, here's our intellectual property. Have fun.
Yeah, with it. Yeah. It doesn't have the sharp good wife fight like feel to it at all, so it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I still do find redeeming things within the Elsbeth of it all. I really do. I love the character. I love her smarts. I love how her brain works and all that. It's just this whole Wagner Connor thing just felt like a wasted storyline to me. It was like it didn't really bring anything to me entertaining wise.
Yeah, I again could have left it, although it is nice to see the people are also complaining about this test. That was like really the only thing. I was like,
relatable. Yeah, let's go back to the main Elsbeth storyline.
Now that that's out of the way.
Yeah. And of course, no one wants to see this as like, we're like, oh, it has nothing to do with like Elsbeth is like, let's go to the team, and everyone's like, why would we do that? This is obviously a street robbery. Like, what do you mean you want to go interview the school? What does the school have to do with it? It's like Elsbeth again is like, you idiots, duh, let's go see what this is all about. So of course Elsbeth comes in and immediately brings some things to mind. She's like, well, the body was cold, but it wasn't like, it doesn't match what the temperature outside was, so something's going on with the cold. We go we go to the training room, and immediately Elsbeth was like, okay, his key card's in his cubby. How does key card be in here? If because he has to use that to get out. So obviously someone drug him out. That's what that means. She walks into the little training room. She's like, oh, there's some blood on the red part of the logo. Obviously the killer did not miss that part of the blood.
But like Nina's like, what is that?
Huh? Duh? I'm like, oh my god.
Elspeth is like, it's blood. Okay.
Like, come on, Nina, come on. So if Kai was here, Kai would know that's blood. Listen,
as an officer, she didn't need to become a detective for that.
Yes. So it's like Elsbeth is coming in here and schooling these people, like no pun intended, to be like, you here's this, and this. So obviously he was killed here while doing his little ice therapy bath. So let's actually start investigating this as the murder that we know it is. So like, she now has everybody on the same page. So we're all over the school interviewing people at the school. I did wonder at first, like, could it have been some of the students that we were introduced to earlier if it wasn't Coach W? Because almost immediately for me, Peyton is off my mind as a suspect.
Right. But like some of the students were kind of bad talking the coach.
Yes, exactly.
But again, like we weren't introduced to like any, what does killing your coach benefit you as a player? You know what I mean? Well, I guess they would bring in a new coach.
Or, maybe they weren't happy with their playing time. I mean, we've met people with worse,
That's
motives
true.
On this show.
True.
That was a thought, but Coach W was pretty high up there on my list. Coach W, as we should, this Bill Belichick doppelganger is played by Sam McMurray.
Oh yeah.
He's very much so a veteran character actor. Like you've seen him in like 1,000 different things. I think his like, the thing he's been on the most was the Tracy Ullman show back in the day, which we are familiar with Tracy Ullman in these parts. We've met her before. Was it on here or on The Good Wife?
I think it was on The Good Wife.
Yeah, so we know about Tracy Ullman here in these good parts. He was on that show, but again, just a guy who you've seen, like I've seen him in like 1,000 different things, but I cannot name one thing right now that I've seen him on, but I know I've seen him on 1,000 different things.
I was like, who is that?
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, is that a sports guy? You know what I mean? Like, I was like, did they bring in a sports person for this? I don't know.
Yeah. So of course, Elsbeth is pointing out the fact that, okay, because everyone wants to pin this on Peyton immediately. Everyone's like, okay, It's definitely Peyton. It's got to be Peyton. Peyton and Dave are beefing, so it's got to be Peyton. And Elsbeth immediately is like, no, it's not Peyton. They're like, what do you mean, Elsbeth? Like, again, why are y'all doubting Elsbeth? Elsbeth has shown nothing but like, Elsbeth has like 100% success rate. Do not doubt this woman. But they keep doubting her. She's like, okay, so how would little old Peyton take Dave out of an ice bath, drag Dave around? Like, little old Peyton's not going to do that. They're like, everyone's like, oh, Elsbeth, pish posh. She's like, no, for real. Like, who could it have been? So like, okay, all right, we'll investigate, we'll do these things, but then we find there was makeup under Dave's armpits. So it must be a woman. Okay, so because men cannot wear makeup, it's literally impossible for men to wear makeup.
This is where it was not a Bill Belichick thing.
Well, we don't know.
I mean, we don't know, but it's definitely another high profile orange man.
Who, okay.
Specifically has used makeup on his hand to cover up some things. That's where my mind went. I was like, oh,
yeah, that's funny. Because so we were like, okay, that's the smoking gun is the makeup under Dave's armpits, which means it's concealer, right? It's a specific type of concealer. Correct. that Peyton is known to use. So we're like, all right, that's it.
Matches when they search the house, they're like, oh, hey, look, it's the concealer, and they make the assumption that the concealer is Peyton's because she's the woman using the bathroom. However, it has been Coach W this whole time. And also, I just gotta say, that's gross, because when you put it on your hand, who knows what the freaking bacteria is on your hand? And then you put it back in the tiny tube and it's just going to fester there. And then you didn't even tell her, and she's been putting it on her face, most likely by her eyes. I'm surprised this woman didn't walk out with a rash or anything. Like, I don't know, but that's what I thought when I was looking at this. I was like, that's pretty gross, Coach W. It's pretty gross.
So we now see, like, okay, makeup, pits, Hi, Peyton. We arrest Peyton. Peyton refuses to tell anyone where she was at the time of the murder. She's like, I will not say where I was. I will not say what I was doing. So now it falls to Elsbeth to figure out what she was doing. So then we find out via this sports show that there was a cab driver or an Uber driver, whatever you want to call it, that took Peyton to Long Island. So that is now Peyton's alibi for where she was. We don't know what she was doing, but she was in Long Island at the time, so she couldn't have done this murder. This is enough to get Peyton out of the who's gal, whatever you want to call it. But Elsbeth meets the Uber driver, finds out where he took Peyton, and at first she rings the doorbell. Some nice older black lady of like, I don't know who this person you're talking about is. But then Elsbeth notices across the street there's some kid playing ball. And so thankfully we are spared the interview that Elsbeth does with the kid, but she goes to Peyton and says, okay, I know where you were and what you were doing. You were visiting a 14-year-old middle schooler that you want to recruit for this college. And Elsbeth's like, I can't believe y'all out here trying to recruit 14-year-olds for college, which is a thing. It's a hell of a thing. These college coaches are trying to grab these kids as early as they can, even younger than 14 years old, honestly. And
also we should pay college athletes, but continue.
I mean, well, it's gotten
because
better.
Of that. It has gotten better, but I'm just saying, like, there's this entire industry about like bringing people into the college sporting world.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna do that to a 14-year-old, you could maybe like pay them when they get there.
Yeah, but it's listen, with the start of the fact that they're able to take endorsement deals has got a lot better for college athletes.
Yes.
But it is still crazy that they are making the schools so much money, but they're not allowed to benefit from that themselves. But because before they were allowed to take these endorsement deals, the NIL deals, there are all these rules and things about how you can't give these college athletes anything. Like they are to struggle while making these people billions of dollars. It's wild.
So much money.
I get a whole tangent on that. But yeah, so it's literally like Peyton was out there by herself recruiting this 14-year-old for the school. So she knows, like, this, it kind of shows like she knows a little bit about what she's doing. But also she refuses to reveal that for a couple different reasons. Number one, it's technically illegal. It's technically illegal for her to be doing that. She's not a true representative of the school, so she could not do that. Also, that would, in the media circles, it would be like a whole fiasco where already she's been like, she's spotlighted as having too much to do with the sports program. And if we now find out she's out here recruiting people, no matter how like forthright the recruitment was, it would be a nightmare. It would be a publicity nightmare for them. So she's going to keep quiet. She's not going to say anything about it. She's going to like just roll with it. So yeah, like Peyton is being uncooperative. She's not going to give Elsbeth anything. She hears from Elsbeth about the makeup in the pits, and she's like, whatever. She doesn't really, give any credence to it at first. But then later at home, we find out.
Yeah, well, after she's been released from the precinct because she's been held there, she wanted to order sushi to see if it could be delivered. And Elsbeth like uses her time wisely, gets a little bit more information out of Peyton, and then was like, "Yeah, I've already convinced everyone that you've been on Long Island, so you can go." And she's like, "Oh, great, thanks." And then they're going out to dinner that night, and that's when Peyton figures out someone's been using my concealer.
Well, she sees Coach W putting the concealer on his hands because he wants to cover up his age spots on his hands because he's now self-conscious because everyone's been talking about the fact that he's so much older than she is. So now he's self-conscious. So now he's covering it up with concealer. And this lets Peyton know. She's like, because again, I liked how they made Peyton as like, she's no dummy. She can put two and two together. So now Peyton looks at him like, oh, you killed this guy. You did this. And I also liked in the meeting that Elsbeth and Peyton had, where Peyton is kind of like defending her directness of like, well,
yes,
it's that's just my approach. Elsbeth does say, well, don't you think like you wouldn't be in this position if you had maybe a better approach? I liked how they kind of both sides did, because neither person was wrong here. It was like, this is my approach. Deal with it. If you don't like it, like get over it. That's just who I am. But also Elsbeth is like, well, you know,
Welcome to being a woman.
yeah, I'm surprised I'm surprised the words like if I was a man, they wouldn't have a problem with my approach. They didn't say that, but they kind of like alluded to that.
Yeah, I mean it's a big part of my life, at least, of like, okay, I have to think, how is this person going to receive the information I'm telling them? What tone do I need to use? How do I need to be? When I could say something in 5 words and be done with it, but I have to say something in 1,500 words so that they feel good. You know what I mean? And then it's like, well, if you would have just been direct. And I'm like, God. It's hard. It's hard to walk that line between the two. And I don't think, as the show's saying and you're saying, like, I don't think there's any right answer here except for down with the patriarchy, obviously.
Yeah, 100%. And it's in that conversation with Peyton that we hear about TapeGate, which
Yes.
Which is, I'm like, again, I was laughing like to myself while watching the episode. I'm like, oh my god, they even gave him his own very own gate, right? Because in the Patriots, in the real life, it was the Flake Gate, where I think actually Tom Brady took most of the blame for this one, where it was like they were deflating the footballs, the Patriots footballs, to make it easier for him to throw. That was like the whole scandal about they were taking air out of the footballs to make it easier to throw. It was a thing that dominated sports headlines for probably a good year, because when you're a successful franchise, they'll take anything to like take you down. I'm not defending them at all. I just want to say that, like, but anything they can use to make you look like you're cheating, they'll do. And apparently the TapeGate was that whoever it was, the assistant coach apparently took the blame for this, but it was found that the team was bugging the opposition's locker rooms to get like some info and some dirt. So this gives Elsbeth her big bing epiphany moment in the episode. So she goes back to the school's locker room and is looking and is having like the people look for bugs. She has Nina there. She's like just pantomiming to Nina, like Elsbeth loves to do. Pretend, act natural. There might be a bug. So then we find the bug and we find out that it was Coach W putting bugs in the locker room. So it's like, obviously someone's been bugging the things. And why would he do that? He would do that to find out which players and staff were talking crap about the coach. We also hear that one of the players talks to his other player, because Coach W's alibi is that he was with a player watching tape at the time that Dave was murdered. So we also hear one player talk to another player about the fact that, hey, Coach wanted me to give him an alibi, but that's not what we were doing at all.
Well, not just give him an alibi, but lie. Like just
Lie.
like he's like, Coach wanted me to lie to say that we were watching tape when we weren't. And then Mr. Basketball player / soon to be probably officer on the Elsbeth something or other. It's like, well, oh, tell me more. Let me try to get some more information from you.
Yeah, we also find out, because Elsbeth confronts Coach and Peyton, that Peyton and the coach got married. they listened.
Yeah. So just to like put the timeline of events here. So it was like, oh, you're using my concealer. Oh, concealer, you killed the guy. Totally. Let's go to dinner. Hey, you want to get married? Next day, look, we got married.
Yeah.
This is not a Bill Belichick connection, though. I don't think
not this part. This part. Because you could just imagine the scene, right? Of like they're at dinner. She's like, "So listen, I know that you killed Dave. So if you don't want me to, turn you in, you're going to marry me. We're obviously not going to have a prenup. So that's, you don't want me to testify against you, do you? Because if I'm married to you, I can claim spousal privilege. Can't testify against you. So I only imagine that's what the conversation was. So then they got married immediately at City Hall. So now she is Mrs. Willoughby. She's now Mrs. Peyton Willoughby. And so, yeah, like now all the things falling into place. Coach W hears the two teammates talk about the fact that, hey, do you think maybe Coach could have done this? Like, this is weird. This is odd. And we also hear him talk about the makeup, and they wonder if, like, could Coach have been doing that? We don't know. Did he frame his girlfriend? Who knows? And now Coach knows that, this is out there. This is known. People are thinking this. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it gets to the point where Elsbeth is like gonna do her big reveal. She's been banned from the like athletic center
The
or whatever.
premises. Yeah.
Yeah, she's been banned from here because she's harassing the like staff, and they have serious business to do here. So it's time before a game. Coach Willoughby's given his like, we're all thinking about Dave. Like, really, let's go out and win it. And there is a mascot in the room for this entire conversation. I'm like, oh, I wonder where Elsbeth could be.
Yeah, right.
Where could she be? She's right there.
The mascot itself was interesting because the mascot they had a former mascot, but just like in today's sports world, there are a lot of older mascots, older terms for team names that are rightly in a lot of cases seen as offensive to certain cultures, to certain peoples.
Graduate of the University of Illinois, I live this life very, very much.
I'm trying to think of what the thing was. What was the offensive thing?
So they're known as the Fighting Illini, and our mascot was a chief.
Oh,
and
okay.
It was made even worse because the chief was played by a white man who said he went to go learn the dance from Native Americans.
Ooh.
And then when he did a toe touch, I did not believe that is where that dance came from. And so then like at least when I was in school, there was a big protest. The chief is no longer part of like U of I iconography, or like does not no longer do the dance. But there's such a stronghold at the University of Illinois of people who are like identified with the Fighting Illini that they cannot change the name. But there are students, I just went back to visit recently, there's students on the quad like protesting to become the Squirrels.
Okay.
So
well,
so you know, like I would take that trade in a heartbeat. I think that would be so fun. But I don't think the people who give money to the university are actually like, those are the ones that unfortunately hold this decision in their hands. So it's not always easy to get a thingy.
Yeah. Because we did find out earlier in the episode, because of this, the school decided to put the naming of the mascot and the new thing into the hands of the students, which is a mistake. You should not do that, because the students will come with stupid things, namely Thingy. I will never forget, there was it was some foreign thing, I forgot. They decided to let people vote on a name for a boat, and the boat turned into Bodie McBoatface, because
it's so great though. You're not gonna forget it. I mean, like I would totally take the Fighting Squirrels, or we were thinking like when I was in school, one of the names was like the Prairie Fire. Like,
yeah, that's why with a Z.
I don't know.
That's why you don't leave it in the hands of 20-year-olds. Okay. So yeah, now the mascot is like, it's called Thingy, and what was it? Was it like a fist holding a peace sign?
Okay, so there was a body, right? There was a body, their hands and legs, and then there was a giant circle head, and with two like fingers, like a peace sign coming out of the head. Don't really know, but that's where Elsbeth was hiding when, after Coach gives the speech, everything, he's like, okay, let's go get him. The team leaves, and you can see him put the concealer in one of the students' bags. And again, this isn't a thing where Elsbeth has proof like before the arrest or anything like that. She basically has to watch this man plant evidence and have her friends nearby to be like, aha, you did it. You just planted evidence. We're going to take you on that and go from there. So I think we're seeing more and more of that in terms of her quote unquote reveals. It's not going to be like, we have all this proof. It's going to probably be like, look, you're trying to hide yourself. And that's where she says, like, it's not the crime. It's the cover up.
Because it's concealer. Get it? Yeah, so hey, like, and you know, Elsbeth does what Elsbeth does. She, you know, lays it all out for Coach and why he did it and how he did it and all this. She pantomimes all the stuff that he did. And Peyton tells her, like, hey, I really like your like confrontational style. You should lean into that. You should use that more. Which prompts Elsbeth, because earlier in the episode, Elsbeth, one of the like gossip rags had misspelled Elsbeth's name in a story about Elsbeth and Alec, and she was like, oh, it's okay, I won't call him and make him make them correct it. Even after Wagner said, well, you could just email them and get them to correct it. She's like, no, it's fine. I don't want to worry about it. But because Peyton told Elsbeth to be more confrontational, Elsbeth calls a hotline for the magazine and tells them to spell her name right. Dang it.
Yeah, I mean, like, and she was throughout the episode as well, like introducing herself, like, "Hi, I'm Elsbeth with a B, like Liza with a Z." And I was like, "Oh, Elsbeth, no one's gonna get that." But yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the wrap up on this one.
Well, we did get an interesting tag on the end of the episode where we find out that 4.5 years later, I was like, wow, we are like really fast flash forwarding here. We find out that Peyton has become a creator of her own cosmetics line. It is a non-smudge. She has a non-smudge concealer, I guess, because she learned from this case about things should not be smudging. And we also find out that Peyton has now moved on to another older man in Lindsey Graham.
First of all, if anything good comes out of this world, that would not be a possibility in 4 years. Let's just say that. Also, very interesting because of, do you know the Lindsey Graham lore?
Somewhat. Please refresh my memory.
He has I forget what his nickname is, but there's talk about his sexual identity multiple times, and he's also
is he confirmed bachelor?
Yes, exactly. Yes. He's a confirmed bachelor. He turned on his best friend John McCain and is besties with Trump. So there's if the
very Ward McAllister feel, if you remember our Gilded Age coverage.
Yes, very much so. It's so, I mean, I could see Peyton kind of just she's definitely ambitious, and she's basically using men as a resource to get what she needs in the power and to be in the circle. I can't say that men didn't do to get to where they are. So
yeah, listen, she's a clout chaser, but sometimes
sometimes you gotta.
It's you being an ambitious clout chaser, and it's fine. Get it how you can get it. That's what I always say. But yeah, that was the episode. It was interesting for many reasons. I mean, fascinating for me specifically that they are basically calling out Bill Belichick to his it's this extremely thinly veiled attack on Bill Belichick.
Well, thank you for drawing the connection for me, because this episode did get a lot more interesting throughout our podcast.
Yeah, I was so excited when we came on and I was like, do you know why this is interesting? And you're like, no. I was like, yes, I can't wait to mansplain sports to Marissa and to our audience. For
well,
the parallel, which I thought was extremely fascinating.
We gotta let we gotta let you be a man sometimes.
Yeah, it's very helpful. Very helpful.
The mansplaining lives on.
Yes, 100%. So that was our episode for this week. Hope you will join us next week for Elsbeth season 3, episode 9. Marissa, do you want to tell the good folks where they can find you on the internet? What you're doing?
The internet. You can find me at itsme.marissasheet.com, where I have links to all of the podcasts that I'm on, including this one. Did you know, if you're watching us on YouTube, that we have an audio version? Did you know, if you're listening on our audio version, that we have a video version? What do you know? We're everywhere. So you can find links there, as well as to my other podcasts, including Previous Little Liars over on Whirlwind Podcast, where I'm watching Pretty Little Liars, one previously on at a time. And then also the USS Sisterhood, where my sister and I are watching Star Trek The Next Generation, which a new batch will be coming to the feed during winter break. So just
okay.
But Jason, what are you up to these days? Are we still what's it like on the love and marriage side of reality television?
Yeah, so we have wrapped up season 19 of Married at First Sight, but we're still dealing with some aftermath. I did have a interview that I did solo by myself with Pat from Married at First Sight season 19. That was a fun, interesting interview. Gave some great behind the scenes stuff about the show and what was going on with him and his relationship with Rhonda. So you'll find that over on the Love at First Sight feed with my podcast, The Perfect Match. So go check it out. It's on YouTube. It's on audio. So check it out. We also have a Patreon affiliated with the Perfect Match podcast. You go to patreon.com/Perfect Match podcast. You'll find it there. We talk about older seasons. We do rankings. We do a lot of fun stuff. So come check me out over there when you get a chance. That's it for me. That's it for Marissa. Until next time, stay good.